Okay, can you go down, please?
I want to start the meter running.
That's right. Let's start the meter yet. That way we can assure everybody at home.
1 minute, Dwayne.
1 minute. Remind us, they must all, these things are centralized by something, huh?
Oh, your cell phone is.
Time? 1 minute. I told my daughter that we were starting right at 5:30. She said, really? Nobody does.
Yeah.
Oh, 5:30 exactly. Call this meeting to order. Michelle, would you call the roll, please?
Bruce Stickle.
Present.
Jerry Motter.
Present.
Doug Humphrey.
Present.
Dan Verbeck.
Present.
Cassandra Mikhail. Karen Wilson.
Mr. Scott, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Karen is at a work thing, and Cassandra has a class she's going to, so we have 4. Okay, council meeting of March 17th, 2025. Any additions or corrections to those? If not, would there be a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Administrator's report. Steve, got a couple things to tell.
Yeah, actually, I changed gears a little bit on what I was going to present because this afternoon we received our official notice, although we've known for about a week and a half, as far as a major upgrade from Standard & Poor's Global Rating Service. They are one of the companies, or actually probably the lead company in rating municipal bond offerings. And to do that, they actually do a review of the financials, the management, and the entire status of municipal organizations. We can't get out ahead of them as far as announcing their results, but it's a very extensive process of furnishing information to Standard & Poor's for their rating services. They vary a little bit as far as the frequency of the rating of municipalities. It's generally on about a 3 to 5 year timeline. Our last rating with them was fall of '22, and we had completed in the last few weeks submitting all the information and going through an extensive interview process with them. And at 3:45 this afternoon, we received the official news confirming what they had already told us privately, and that is that we have an improvement in our bonds, which previously the city is rated, and therefore the underlying bonds has improved from an A-, which is a very good rating for a small community, to a solid A with a stable outlook. We'll cover more on it. We have to, when we give any kind of an actual hard copy release, we can only give it out after it has appeared on the Standard & Poor's website. It has not yet, but then we can provide that information, some more detailed follow-up. But what I have handed out to the trustees and the mayor gives it a little bit of a breakdown. Their highest grade of credit worthiness is a AAA rating, and it represents the highest level of credit worthiness and extremely strong capacity to meet financial comments. And then it goes all the way down from there. AA, A, which includes in like school grading, is you got an A+, an A, and A-, and then the triple Bs, and all the way down to ratings as low as D. anything below a BBB minus is considered a speculative grade. That would be kind of like in investment markets, almost getting down to the penny stocks type of thing. But the rating that we're at reflects a very strong capacity to meet financial commitments, somewhat vulnerable to economic changes compared to higher rated categories. The economic changes would be regionally, nationally, and internationally. It's not just the management of the city. And once they release it, we will be able to give more of the details, specifically how they evaluated the strengths and weaknesses of the village, because I think it was a very good assessment of us, both strengths and weaknesses, and the challenges that we have. In part, we're a part of the state of Illinois and a part of the Quad City economic community. So, but I did want to pass this out and just make that kind of a precursor, that it's very, very positive news, and it reflects a lot of things. A very good community, people in the community, the businesses, the city government, the elected officials, the staff, all coming together for a very, very positive outcome. It is important to everybody, because if we do a general obligation bond issuance, it's like going to the bank with, a good line, a good credit rating. You get better rates for the borrowing when we have to do that. We do not have any GOBs, general obligation bonds, in the near term. We will have some revenue bonds with the financing of the wastewater treatment project, which Kevin will leave that for you in your report. But are there any questions about the Standard & Poor's process, other than I apologize for not being able to hand out the report, but they're very particular on the order they want things to happen.
No, I understand. That's really good news, because we go to borrow money, which we're going to have to do at some point with the wastewater project. That's going to help us a lot, make a lot of difference in the interest rates that we pay.
Saves money, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Thanks, Steve.
the history was, in '22, we showed improvement. And from the previous ranking, which had been a BBB plus, stable, you have to use both the initial and then the outlook, including it. We moved up to an A minus stable in 2022, and now we're a solid A stable. So
Yeah, very good.
lots of numbers, but a good outlook.
It's kind of strange how they do that. Like the grade school classes, they don't want to call the A group the B group. You call them the bluebirds and the redbirds, so everybody. Good. Very good, Steve. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, a motion to approve Steve's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrator's report.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Department inspectors report, sorry, got ahead of myself. Bruce and Rob are here.
And not bad for the month of March, being March is all cold winter, nothing get a whole lot done, but it wasn't too bad. You'll notice that the paper is white instead of blue like it usually is, so there's a reason for that, and Rob has an explanation. I'm gonna turn it over to him.
Yes, we had 31 permits issued in March, so it's starting to pick up, and April started off fairly strong so far.
Good.
The new reports, we have initiated our new permitting software. It's called GovBuild, and it's kind of been a soft opening for it, so just internal here, we've been using it. Hopefully by the end of this week, we will go public, where contractors, residents can get on there, create their own portal, apply for building permits, apply for their contractor registration. There's a code enforcement aspect of that software, so they can go on and fill out a complaint online for code enforcement violations. So like I said, we started that early in the month of March. So the reports came out a little bit different. There's several variations of the report that you can print, so I'm trying to figure that part out on what I can add in there. So hopefully next month it'll have a little more information.
Good.
Where this first one I did doesn't tell what the permit was issued for, what kind of work was being done. It just shows like a building permit and the address and the fees and what the valuation was. So hopefully it'll get a little bit better to report as time goes on.
Good. It's an upgrade, make it more
Yep.
efficient, good, very good. Question, anybody, Rob? Bruce, anything else?
No? If anybody doesn't have any other questions for Rob, I'll make a motion to approve the building inspector's report.
For a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the report. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. Excuse me. Item 6, department head reports. Kevin, how about you?
Good. Yeah, we did get well 5 back and up and running. Ran it through the testing and it came back fine.
Good.
J.L. Brady did some work on the school. Their main service line coming off of 3rd Street.
Yeah.
They replaced a section of that last month while they were down for their summer break or Easter break, I should say. And then I know we had a couple Zoom meetings with Waterworth, which is the company that we have an agreement with. They're reviewing our water rates that coincide with this, the wastewater project. And I think we were looking at trying to have a meeting, was it next week, Steve?
Yeah, depending on availability of everybody, which I think maybe what we'll look at is, first of all, rather than the meeting on any kind of that schedule of construction and the financing requirements for that, is to start out, I think, you hosting a tour at the sewer treatment plant.
Oh, okay, well,
That's
that
right.
sounds like a good thing.
Lunch-
You want us
lunch
to be
provided.
pressing while we do that?
What?
You want us to run the press while we're doing that?
Yeah.
Better walk out with stinky clothes.
So, no, that would be fine if we start down there and we can show you the equipment that we have and the age that it has and
Okay,
what we're looking at doing with the new facility.
very good. Very good, okay.
We're looking at doing that next Monday, is that correct?
And that will be subject to the council, yes.
Okay.
How's that work for everybody?
Whatever
Doug,
time
yeah.
you want to do it.
Dan?
What time?
Probably 4 o'clock.
That'd be fine.
Can you make it by then?
Next Monday.
Or can you? Okay. We'll check with Karen and Cassandra too. Okay. Let's plan on that tentatively. We'll announce it and do everything.
At 4?
Is that right, what you said? 4?
Yeah.
Okay,
I just
sounds
have to
good.
make sure I'm not working.
Is that okay? Can you do it? Okay, very good. But we'll get the notice out too, through our webpage and so on. Very good. Chief, how about everything with you guys?
Good. My report's in there, everything that's been going on this month. We're kind of heading into our training time now. We always have in April, October. I know detective's been in a couple of courses this last month. Some things he needed as a new detective. And then we'll have our department-wide training coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Good.
In addition to the normal monthly training that everybody goes through for
Sure.
a lot of the mandates and whatnot.
There's a lot more training goes on than people realize, I think. Is
Yeah.
that true? Yeah.
So we'll be moving on with that. Couple of different things that we've been meeting as a whole in the Quad Cities with some technology updates coming up. Hopefully in the next couple months, I'll know a little bit more on that and kind of fill you in on some new things coming for us.
Okay,
But it's things in the technology realm that are almost beyond our control, I guess, that some of the other entities that we report to are making some changes in the way that they handle things through the courts and whatnot.
all right.
We'll have some of those changes, but other than that,
Okay. You'll have a copy of the Public Works report too. Steve's got all the information on there. If there are any questions, we can always send them on. So, any other questions of the department heads? Would there be a motion to approve their reports?
I make a motion.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve the department head reports. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Item 7, Doug, you're on with the semi-monthly and miscellaneous bills.
Regular payables for this period are $421,296.14, and that includes a $274.08 credit memo, miscellaneous of $6,775, for a total of $428,071.14. The five highest, Strand Associates, the professional services, and that has to do with the sewage treatment plant again, $108,200. Milan Developers LLC, 2023 payable 2024 real estate tax reimbursement, $85,860.74. Nature's Treatment of the Quad Cities, 2023 payable, same thing, $31,104.18. Martin Equipment Company for excavator repair in the amount of $26,683.45. And Meriton Health Incorporated, medical premiums and admin, that's for the staff, $23,572.96. Are there any others on there anyone has a question about?
What was the excavator repair
I don't know,
for
what piece?
$26,000?
It was engine replacement on a skid steer loader,
Oh,
or skid steer loader.
Yeah. Got a problem.
Took on water.
I could probably get in one and maybe turn it on, but that's about it. So, yeah, that's it.
The second and third items, payments to Milan Developers and NTI are TIP redevelopment agreements. The first one, the $85,860, is the Cobblestone Apartments project, and it is paid by taxes paid by the property owner, not the city, a portion of which then, it comes into the tax increment financing district, and a portion then goes back to the developer to reimburse them over a period of years for a portion of their development costs. And that's the case with the second and third line items there.
Okay. Okay, everything seems in order then, Doug?
Any other questions about any of them? All right, if not, then I would make a motion that we pay our bills in the amount of $428,071.14.
That's the second motion.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to pay the bills. Any other discussion or question? Hearing none, we should have a roll call question on the question, please, Michelle.
Jerry Motter,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey,
Yes.
Dan Verbeck,
yes.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Motion carried, we pay our bills. Item number 8, consideration of the 2025 softball season lease to Rock Island Milan Little League. We had a committee of the whole meeting, what's it been, a couple months ago, and worked out details with the Rock Island Milan Little League, which includes softball, at that time, and we had some red lines, right? Lincoln and Cassandra worked those out, and everybody's looked at it, and is pretty much in agreement that those are good considerations to do. So without belaboring the point, we've got a lot of agenda items. Are there any questions about that contract? I think they're all the same things that we suggested last time, maybe with a couple of other minor changes, but nothing big. Okay? So if you're happy with that agreement that we've reworked and gotten in order, would there be a motion to approve that contract or the lease to the Rock Island Milan Little League?
I make a motion that we accept the 2025 softball season lease with the Rock Island Milan Little League.
I'll second.
There's a second? Motion's made and seconded. By the way, there's some things in there where either of us can make some minor modifications if there's some wording or something wrong, but it takes care of the thing we've been working on for quite some time. So, motion's made and seconded to approve that softball season lease to Rock Island Milan Little League. Michelle, would you call the roll, please?
Doug Humphrey,
Yes.
Dan Verbeck,
Yeah.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Jerry Motter.
Yes.
Motion carried. We've got a contract. Is anybody here from softball? I thought somebody was coming. Yes, sir. Do you have any questions about it? Everybody's happy with it. That's good. We move on. I hope you have a good, successful season. About ready to start, isn't it?
Next week.
Next week. Hope it's dry.
I hope so.
Well, we need some rain though, but yeah, very good. Best of luck to you with doing that. We appreciate the group to have a good, successful season and a lot of girls playing. How's the sign up going, do you know? 90? How many teams will there be, about approximately?
Without T-ball, I think we're at 6.
6? Good. Make a nice round robin schedule then. Very good. I'll be up sometime. Okay, very good. Thank you. Consideration of the continuation of the lease to QCOM. Steve, explain this. We have QCOM upstairs, as all of you know, and we leased the space to them, and worked out well.
Yeah,
Steve?
it is. There's a consortium of 4 cities, Milan, Moline, East Moline, and Silvis, that operate through an intergovernmental agreement provided by this, the framework provided by the state of Illinois for a regional 911 center, which is the entire 3rd floor of this building. It is literally a state-of-the-art facility, provides excellent service. It provides, if you think of what happens in a situation where a homeowner, a resident needs services, whether it's an ambulance or fire response or police response, it almost invariably starts with a phone call. These days, a lot of them are cell phone calls, but a lot of them originate from the home. In either case, that's handled first by a 911 center. So the employees are separate from the village of Milan, but we're one of the 4 cities that provide governance and also pay into this. Because the facility is physically located here, we also receive rent payments from them. That's in the amount of $30,000 annually. They began operation in January of 2019, and that amount has stayed the same. This would provide a 5-year extension, and virtually the only thing that changes is they're moving from a quarterly payment to a monthly payment. The first 2 years still at $30,000, then there's a nominal increase in years 3 through 5 that will get it up to $34,000 just for some inflationary costs we have. But again, we actually, the irony is we also pay in to what it costs to generate the $30,000 to turn around and pay us. So we don't net $30,000, we net $30,000 minus about 16 or 17%. Also, while we're at it, I guess I would like to acknowledge my boss that hired me a great number of years ago.
Yeah.
Barb Brensvold is here, and your husband was absolutely a leader in 911 throughout the state of Illinois, both in creating the legislation and advocating on behalf of public safety and 911. So Barb, thank you, and thank your husband.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it was good. That's, we debated about the 3rd floor, whether to add that 3rd floor to this building. Back and forth, because it did cost a little extra. It's paid off well. We've got the facility here. We are much ahead in the pay that we have to have our own, if we had to have our own dispatchers. We have them here as a consortium. It's much more efficient. So it's a good program for us, good program for them. Plus, it makes good use of this building, brings a lot of people to town.
Yeah.
How many employees are there, Steve, up there?
They run about, right now it's about 27. They've got a couple of spots to fill, but they have a small administrative staff. They have a contract employee that helps with their bookkeeping, and then they have a full-time training person too that puts together their curriculum and resources. It's very extensive. Chief sits on their board, as do I, and then the administrators and chiefs from the other 3 cities as well. You want to weigh in on?
No, you said it all, they do a great job.
It's a good program, yeah. It's really run well, I think. It's good. A couple little quirks along the way, but got them all worked out and it's working well.
Yeah.
Very well.
And like I said, Joe Brunsvold initiated it, and at the time that Milan first began a 911 operation, it was literally for us, for our city, it was a 1 person per shift. which is very difficult if a lot of things happen at once. That person is easily overwhelmed, and by having it a joint center that's staffed at peak load times, their normal staffing is 5 dispatchers and administrative staff. So it's a tremendous resource for the public, but also their constituency is the public service providers, keeps them safe.
Okay, so where are we then? We need to vote on at least any questions of anybody. It's worked out well for both sides, both parties. So would there be a motion to continue the lease to QCOM 911 for a term of 5 years under the points that Steve made?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to continue our lease with QCOM 911 for a term of 5 years.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to continue that contract for the aforementioned terms. Yeah, let's do a roll call on that, please. Michelle?
Dan Burbeck.
Yes.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Jerry Motter.
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Motion carried. We have a new contract. All right, item 10, another agreement. Burkett, Big Island
River Conservancy.
Conservation District.
Conservancy District.
Is anybody here from that group? Well, somebody might have been coming. This is an ongoing flood protection maintenance responsibilities. We have an agreement with them about what we do, about what they do, and this has been worked out. Steve Gibbs has been in on it, and a lot of other people to work out what we do. It's worked in the past. They just wanted to make sure we got this thing written down because, there's talk to Rock Island trying to maybe do some things with Big Island that thought we had settled a long time ago, but we'll see. And anyway, this agreement then clearly spells out what we'll do, what they will do, and they can be altered as time passes, but the people who do the maintenance are the ones who came up with the ideas and the points for the agreement. So it's the same as we've been doing. So would there be a motion? We can move ahead to get this taken care of. They wanted it on the agenda tonight, so we get it all done, so.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded to enter into that continuation of the renewal for flood protection, maintenance responsibilities for the levee system in Big Island. Motion was made and seconded. Have a roll call, please, again.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Jerry Motter.
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Burbeck.
Yes.
Motion carried. We'll sign that and we'll move on. Let's see, I got ahead of myself here. Consideration of a 5-year lease agreement for Edwards Creative at 435 East First. That's the building you can see the top of right there. We have had an agreement with them for quite some time. One of the reasons for doing that was to keep them in town because they were running out of space. So years ago, we agreed on this building and some of the property around to keep them here, give them a place. They've become a nationwide company. They have offices in Dyersville, they're moving into Dubuque and a lot of other places in the country. They have people working all over the country. I don't know, maybe all over the world, I'm not sure. I think it's just the United States.
They principally are in North America and do a lot of work beyond this region for high-quality museum expositions. Displays that are very sophisticated, and they do from cradle to grave. They do the design, and construction, installation, and care and feeding of those exhibits.
Who was that? Oh, go ahead, Steve.
So the company originally moved in from, and they were founded in Milan, but moved from their first location in across the street, and then were sometimes called Upper Lease Building, where Finns are.
They started over on 10th Avenue.
The 10th Avenue.
Road, yeah.
And in 2012, then they had grown so much that they moved into this facility. The city acquired it. It was, at the time, it was vacant, had been on the market for quite some time. And through one of our economic development programs, we were able to become the landlord and they have been our tenant since 2012. This would be for a 5-year term. The rate remains the same as they're currently paying, but there are a few very important distinctions. One is, we had been paying, generally, the city is exempt from property tax. The exception is when it's leased out for profit. And so we had been paying the property tax on the building next door. And that will now be a triple net lease, which they're responsible for all of their operating expenses, their maintenance on the building, the property tax, which will be reimbursed to the city because the city is, again, the property owner. So the tax bill will come to us, they will reimburse us for that amount, and then they will also reimburse us for the insurance on the building. So the city has virtually no expense or very little expense for it. The one thing which we said we would continue to do is the snow plow of their lot while our public works comes through here. And that's really the only day-to-day responsibility that we will have on it. And it will generate about $46,000 a year in revenue with very little risk or exposure. There is no provision for an automatic renewal. It's simply 5 years. There is the grassed lot south of there, between there and TMS, is a lot which will now be written out from their lease. It's owned by the city. Previously had been included, but was not necessary for their operation. And so that's the south 115-foot of that property will now be excluded because there has been some interest in developing on that site as well. So this separates the two leases and makes that available for a new development.
Very good. So this is, we're pretty much out of the business of, except for rent. They're gonna take care of just about everything
Correct.
else. And the plan is to sell that green space. We have some interest in that, as some of you already know, to sell it to the company next door, if they so desire. But also, this frees up this building. We can't kick them out immediately. They've got a huge business. So they will, by the end of 5 years, be moved someplace else. And they've also said that most likely they will be out before the end of 5 years. So then we can sell this building, and there's interest in that also, and we come out ahead on the whole thing. It's been a very good partnership between us and the company. They're, like I said, they're known worldwide. They're a great company, good people that take care of it too, so. Okay.
Because they will be looking for another place with more square footage to continue their growth, there will be a provision in this contract that they can cancel with 90 days written notice to the village. So it will be no longer than 5 years, but could be shorter than that if they find the need to make a move and someplace to go.
It's growing rapidly.
Yes.
That's what's happening, yeah. Questions about that lease, anybody? Most of you already knew some of the details of what we were working on.
The good agreement because it puts more money back into the general fund
Yeah.
and gives them an opportunity that they can move when they're feeling necessary to move within the 5 years, which works for us too. So it's a kind of a win-win for both of us.
I
And
agree.
it controls our costs.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it gets rid of some of our responsibility for the building. too.
Right.
And gives us
All
the
of it.
flexibility to do something with the lot next door. So,
And there's, yeah, that's going to work out nicely for all parties concerned, so. Is there a motion one way or the other on this lease?
Well, I'll make a motion to go into a 5-year lease renewal for Edwards Creative.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for a lease renewal. Any other question? Hearing none, I suppose we should have another roll call.
Bruce Stickle?
Yes.
Jerry Motter?
Yes.
Doug Humphrey?
Yes.
Dan Verbeck?
Yeah.
Motion carried. We're in business with them. Good. There'll be more on that as time passes. Consideration of 2025 to 2029 FOP labor agreement. Doug is chairman of the Finance Committee, and Steve and Sean, our staff, has been working for quite some time on a labor agreement with the FOP, our very important police department. And Steve, you want to explain the whole thing? Chief's here too. Well, I guess it'd be mostly.
Yeah, I think probably, I'll shut up for a little bit, which probably to everybody's great desire, but Sean and Chief Johnson And Doug and I and Finance were involved in the negotiations that went on for several weeks. There aren't a great deal of changes in the language. We've had this contract for quite some time. So the core of it remains much the same. There are adjustments for inflation. We also have to remain competitive with other departments on wage scales so that we can, A, effectively recruit people when we have openings, and B, so that we can retain them so they aren't lured away by other departments. So we have to be competitive with that. So, Doug, do you want staff to present, or do you want to take a stab at it first?
Well, I'll just say that this is my second time with negotiations, first time with the police. I thought that they were very responsible coming in. I think we made a responsible offer, talked back and forth on the issues, and a lot of times, they saw our point, or we saw their point, and I was just really pleased. I think they're happy with it. I'm confident. I feel good about it, and I think the council will also.
One of the things that strikes me about this contract and others too, police officers aren't readily available when we need to hire people. And we do have chiefs and retirements coming up
Yeah, we have a few over the next few years.
next 2 years, yeah. So we have to be competitive to attract people from other departments. That's the best way to do it because they're already trained somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we hire people who are not trained and then it's a little more expense to us. But the best way for us to get officers is somebody to make a lateral move from another department. And we've been pretty successful at that. We have a good police committee, works hard to get the list done. Will a new list be made next fall?
We're kind of working on keeping the list. We'll probably be testing again here this summer.
Oh, really? Okay.
But we had implemented a lateral transfer program, so we actually last week had some interviews for that.
Oh, good. I didn't know that.
And that's kind of an open application process, and whenever we get.
So it's kind of an ongoing thing? instead
Yeah,
of
whenever
just
we get
maybe-
3 or 4
Okay.
applications in, then
Good.
we'll hold some interviews.
Yeah, I talked to the police committee chairman, I guess, they didn't say that. I didn't know we had any last week.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's good to know, because some departments have been down as many as 5 or 10,
12. Yeah.
12.
Yeah, well.
Police in the bigger departments, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But we don't want to do that. We want to make sure we keep the officers on the streets and we're properly protected from their good work. So, Steve, more details, or Doug.
Sean, with
Yeah, I mean, we updated some of the seniority stuff to match the other union within Milan. We addressed some things with some steps in vacation time overall, and not more vacation time, just adding some updated the retiree healthcare funding, which is funded solely from the officers' wages or benefit time. And some updates to bereavement in there. So, a good contract, some updates in there on some of the language and some of the sections to match other contracts within the city and then address some concerns that the police have.
Okay.
It's already was subjected to a vote and was ratified by the FOP, so it comes to you ready to put in place if you so see fit.
Know the details? You want to,
Nope.
Doug? Or?
I'll make the motion if you're ready.
All right, that's fine. Steve, ready for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else, Sean? Okay.
I'll just mention too, the copy that the council has received is a red line version which shows all the changes, additions, deletions from the existing contract. I thought that was a little easier to point out specifically what changed rather than have to figure it out on your own.
Yep. Okay, Doug, if you're ready. It's been ratified by the FOP.
With that in mind, I'd like to make a motion that we ratify or finalize the 2025 to 2029 FOP labor agreement.
Through 2030.
Oh,
June
oh.
30th of 2030.
Oh, yeah, okay. I just got
5 years.
Yeah, it's a 5-year agreement.
Okay. Was there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second to approve that contract. That's good. A 5-year contract. It's everybody knows where they're gonna be in the next times, and that's important to the police too. Okay, we had a motion and a second, right? Let's do a roll call vote again, Michelle.
Jerry Motter,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey,
Yes.
Dan Verbeck,
Yeah.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Motion carried. We're in business. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Chief, thanks for your work on it, and Sean and Steve, everybody, and Doug. Appreciate that. Item 30,
Piece of ground,
yeah.
just south of the water tower, still enclosed in the fence up in Camden Park. And it is where the monopole is located, and on it are antennas for T-Mobile and also Dish Wireless. At one time, there was a third carrier that was on that, but they've made other arrangements. Who is on it is entirely separate from the city. The only thing that we require of them is if they have more than one company that is on it, then there has to be a part of this contract is a revenue sharing if they have other companies that are leasing space from them. So in addition to the base rate, and this is the same contract that has been in place since 1998. So nothing about the base structure on this has changed, except the company is trying to secure first right of refusals for all of their existing contracts nationwide to the extent that they can. The reason being, and I've handed out a memorandum to the council, but the reason being is that they're trying to position themselves for companies that come in and undercut their existing tower sites by buying the ground and then either jacking up the rates or buying out their contracts, and they end up losing their tower sites. So it is a very limited set of circumstances under which they would have any additional right. That is the only paragraph that changes. Nothing as far as the term of the contract, nothing about the amount of the contract changes. It just gives, in the event that we were to sell the ground to who they consider an industrial competitor, that's the only thing that would trigger their right to come in and match the offer and protect themselves by buying the ground. They would have literally the first right to buy the ground at a fixed price. Now, it's Camden Park. We will never sell the ground. We're not worried about it. They are only worried to the extent they're trying to obtain this on all of their leases. The only advantage to the city is they have a one-time $5,000 payment that they will pay to get this into the contract. And I would rather see us make the $5,000 than have it in their pocket.
Yeah.
That payment's every year, right?
No, one time.
One time?
A one time. The rest of it is covered in the agreement. The existing agreement, I think, if they take all of the optional extensions, I think, and I put it in there, I think it's through 2068. I passed out the copies here. They can continue to, here it is.
May 31st, 2016.
Yeah, they have the right to renew at their option. And if they, and this is, again, this hasn't changed. This is, was finalized during the First Amendment that was about 8 years ago, 6 or 8 years ago, I think. And so they have a long-term investment. They put up the building at their own expense. All the equipment inside it is theirs. The tower is theirs. And it just happens to be on a 30 by 30 piece of ground that generates pretty good revenue for the city.
Yeah. Worked out, Kevin, but you're,
Yeah, we don't have any issues with it.
don't have anything to do with it, really. They just take care of their own business, something, yeah. Good.
Yeah, usually our other people have towers up, antennas up there, usually would pay by each year. We can get
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
No, we get that, and also because they brought Dish Wireless on, we get about, I think it's another $360 a month over and above the base, just because they have an additional customer on that
So
tower.
this come out pretty equal to 5,000 we get once a year, does that come out pretty equal what we get for other ones up there?
What,
per month?
No, nothing changes about what they pay to us monthly.
Right, but I mean, it puts in the same amount that pretty close to the other ones are paying each
It
month.
is, and every 5 years, there's a 10% escalation on it. So we built into the contract, if they extend, we receive an increase.
Well, at one time, just cuts out having to keep books on every month, have to pay it.
No,
No,
the
this is
five,
just- yeah.
the 5,000, don't get that confused.
Yeah, that's
They are
for
willing
this.
to pay us 5,000 to pass this
Yeah.
tonight.
Right.
And the only thing that changes is there's one paragraph that goes in that gives them a first right of refusal. For that, they're willing to pay $5,000.
Okay.
That's certainly reasonable in the market, the way it is right now,
Yeah.
Yes.
I think.
This is easy money for us. We just rent the
Yeah.
space.
Yes.
Does them a service because they need a high place to put their
Yeah, we never had a
towers.
tower being built before, so it's just a little bit different than what we
Yeah.
had before, so.
Well, no, it doesn't change.
Well, no, I mean,
This goes back to 1998 with essentially no change. T-Mobile is the main carrier on it. The city, the residents, the businesses benefit
Right.
because they have a local tower that provides good coverage so for the geography. So everybody benefits, people get good service. The city has a revenue stream from it, and this is an extra 5,000.
Yeah. Good for them, good for us. Okay, any other questions or comments about the lease? Would there be a motion to approve the lease, which just changes actually the right of first refusal to this company?
I make a motion that we enter into this amendment granting first right of refusal to Greencom 3 LLC.
Yeah. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to do that lease agreement as mentioned before. Probably do another roll call.
Jerry Motter,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey,
Yes.
Dan Verbeck,
Yes.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes,
Motion carried, another agreement. Steve, you're going to wear your voice out tonight. Consideration of an award for technical services, geotechnical services, PIP evaluation and analysis for the wastewater treatment plant project to Testing Service Corporation of Carroll Stream, Illinois. Steve explained it. You can certainly do better than I can with it.
And I'll tag team with Kevin on it. This is part of the, and pardon the pun, part of the groundwork of the engineering design for the wastewater treatment plant. And the main service that they're providing is the geotechnical stability of the soil and the underlying bearing capacity to take the structures that would be built on it as a part of the sewer treatment plant, which is anticipated to start during construction season 26. Possibility that it might slide to 27. But the base contract that we have for the design is, if you notice back in our list of bills, the top bill payment that we had of $108,000 was to Strand Engineering. And Strand led the process for getting proposals for this subcontract work for borings and some analysis work that's done. I want to emphasize that it is an estimate of engineering services, because if they find that there are additional borings to be made, it will be above the $44,500 estimate. But they had, I think, 4 proposals, Kevin?
Yes, actually maybe 6, and 2 of them were past the timeline.
Okay.
For submittal, so. yeah, there was quite
So
a bit.
4 compliant bids on it, and they selected this as the best option.
Okay.
Yeah, they have, they've included 18 different sites within the property down there to do borings. The big thing is anytime you get into construction, you want to know where, if there's a rock.
What you've got there.
Substructure, you know, that they're going to have to deal with, so that's part of that planning phase that they're going through.
Okay. Comments, questions about it? Another process in the getting our sewer treatment plant project going and done someday. Would there be a motion to take care of this bill? For this,
It would be to enter into a professional services
to
contract.
enter into a professional services contract with,
I'll make the motion to enter in a professional service contract with Carol's, or
Testing service.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
You got it. Is there a
I second it.
Motion made and seconded to enter into this contract. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we should have another roll call, please.
Dan
Michelle.
Verbeck,
Yes.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Jerry Motter,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Motion carried. We're in business. Item 15, consideration of an ordinance amending the Sub-Zero TIF redevelopment agreement by including Brig 2 LLC among the list of developers. Steve, this, Sean, do you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, this is again one of the companies that they use, that's also, I guess, best way to put it, part of the, the Sub-Zero umbrella. This is one of the companies they use for the development out there, this needs to be included in the development agreement. And they've submitted all this stuff to our TIF consultants.
So this really doesn't change anything, except just adds a name to the
Correct.
to the development agreement, which I assume they requested?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Steve, you see any problem with it, anybody?
It just makes it more, it's identified, so you can't have any unidentified parties or he said, she said, the name's right on there.
Right. Yeah, okay. So fairly simple ordinance, we'll have to have Lincoln draw up, right?
1795.
We don't have the ordinance, or do you have the ordinance?
I have the
Oh, you do?
I have the one from TIF.
Okay. Okay, it's got all the papers here. This is ordinance 1795, and it does what we just talked about doing, just adds that name to the redevelopment agreement. So if that is within your agreement, ordinance
1795.
1795. Okay, would there be action on that?
I make a motion that we approve the amendment to ordinance
1795.
1795 to amend the Sub-Zero TIF redevelopment agreement by including Brig 2 LLC among the list of developers.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion made and seconded. Another roll call, I guess, Michelle.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Jerry Motter,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Verbeck.
Yes. Had a scout or somebody visiting one time for some badge or award, came up after, he says, how come you take roll calls so often? Well, that's
My
what
left.
I always remember that, it was a good question, he had a legitimate question. Okay, we got that done. Item 16, we're getting through here eventually. Consideration of an agreement with Rock Island County for services to be provided by Rock Island County Animal Control and Care through April 30th, 2029. We talked about this a while back when we had a dog problem in one of the areas of town, and we decided, well, we'll get involved with having an animal control officer on duty. Don't know whether they've been used yet, have they, Chris?
Yeah, a couple times.
Couple times, well, good.
And that's it, we, like you say, we talked about it in back February, had approved the short term to get us through to the first of the year, or first of the
Fiscal year.
fiscal year. And then this is just gonna be the continuation of that contract for the next.
How much is it for? Do you-
The first full year, which starts May 1st, will be at $10,000. What they're, and they rounded it basically because it's $2.03 per capita, but the figure that had been discussed was 10,000, so they kept it at that the first year. And then they've included a bump for each of the years through fiscal 2029, which would be April 30th, 2029. So it goes from 203 per capita to 250, $3, and $3.25. The last year, then the city would be paying $16,016.
Cheaper than having our own animal control officer.
Absolutely.
But still a significant expense, which we decided we needed through some urging. So, comments, questions about it?
It includes, of course, assistance on, retrieving animals, of impounding them, of the care and feeding of the animals, and if necessarily, euthanasia of the animals or their adoption.
Okay. The whole thing, okay. Sounds good. Motion to approve, reject, whatever.
it's kind of like insurance, you gotta have it.
I think
Although
so.
it's
I'm
a little
surprised. we-
expensive, but you
Yeah,
gotta
okay.
have it.
Yeah,
If the more you use it, the better it is.
well, it makes it necessary to have certainly, so.
Right.
Good. And it has come to us first. If approved by you tonight, then it will go to the county board.
Yeah, it's per capita too, that's why we pay the amounts we do. They've got that.
And the per capita figure was based on a 2024, will not be adjusted during the length of the contract.
Okay. Okay, would there be a motion to act on that?
I make a motion that we enter into agreement with Rock Island County for services to be provided by the Rock Island County Animal Control and Care Shelter through April 30th of 2029.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to enter into that agreement, Rock Island County. Something we've talked about a long time. Have another roll call on the question, please, Michelle.
Bruce Stickle?
Yes.
Jerry Motter?
Yes.
Doug Humphrey?
Yes.
Dan Burbach?
Yeah.
Motion carried. We have an animal control agreement. Excuse me. Item 17 is a restaurant license application for Epic Eats. It's almost just across the road, the old ice cream store, as I call it, I guess. They do business as Epic Eats. This is a restaurant license application. And is anybody here from that restaurant? Okay. Hong and Nguyen. I don't know how to pronounce that. Is anybody else? Pardon?
Usually pronounced Nigel.
I still couldn't hear.
Nigel.
Is that how, okay.
That's how most
Thank you.
pronounce it.
We had another one for the Shanghai restaurant. Gary, who I know well, his name was not something I wanted to say because I couldn't make it sound correct. So that's good to know. So she lives in Moline and has another, Sean, isn't that true? You find out she has another
I
restaurant?
believe somebody told me she has another restaurant.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, she's ready to go, I think, on it, which I have a comment about later. Anyway, restaurant license application. Any problems with that?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this last time. So the restaurant portion, that's pretty cut and dried. There's no, on the application, there's no difficulties that the police or any of the staff came up with. And
Okay,
I would recommend, can we go ahead?
make a motion.
All right. Make a motion that we accept the restaurant license for the Epic Eats LLC, DBA Epic Eats.
Okay, is there a second?
Second motion.
Motion is made and seconded to approve that restaurant license application for Epic Eats. I think we can do a voice vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Very good. She also has turned in application, tongue twister, for a liquor license. This would be F1, which is a restaurant license, not for a bar per se. It would be, I think they're going to serve, I know they're going to serve drinks out of a small bottle. They're not going to have a large bar area where people will sit around all evening. It's just so people can have a cocktail, if they wish, with their meal. Shanghai restaurant had the same thing for a while. They've given theirs up, so we're really not adding another restaurant license. We're just, anyway, giving them the opportunity to serve an alcoholic beverage if they wish, which draws people to the restaurant too, so.
And you can see by the drawing you got that they're compliant to the ordinance as far as a single entrance into the gaming area, separate from the restaurants.
That's the next thing that comes up, yeah.
Right.
Okay, would there be a motion for that liquor license? I can approve that myself, but I'd like you to concur.
I make a motion to approve that liquor license.
Thank you. For a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The third is an application which we've talked about many times. What did I do with it here? There it is. A gaming license. Sometimes people get the cart before the horse. And I don't really like that. We're going to make some changes on that. Anyway, for the same lady, and she would like a gaming license to have some machines in there, as we have in several others. One other business has given up their gaming license, so we're really not adding any gaming licenses to it. And I think we're getting to the point where we're saturated with it. But like some of you have said before, the market is going to determine how many of these we can have around, and none of them have caused any trouble. I'm not speaking for or against it, I'm just saying that it has been something where we do make some money. People enjoy the process, and since they don't cause any trouble, it's not been a problem for the village. But she has applied for this gaming license, video gaming applications in the same name and at the same location for a few machines. They're limited by the state. And like Bruce said, he's got we've got the drawings where people would sit and eat, and if they want to enjoy some gaming, that's what the place would be for. So, would there be a motion to that effect to approve that video gaming license application, or any comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the video gaming license for Epic Eats LLC, DBA Epic Eats, pending state liquor license approval.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah. Motion's made and seconded. Yeah, that's right. They have to have the liquor license before they can do this. So this is, I don't know, have comments about it in a little bit. So anyway, we should probably have a roll call on that question, please. Michelle, can you?
Yep. Bruce Tickle?
Yes.
Jerry Mutter?
Yes.
Doug Humphrey?
Yes.
Dan Verbeck?
Yes.
Motion carried. We'll give her the gaming license. She's still got to go through all the state process. I'd like to have Lincoln look into this too. We tried to do a kind of a moratorium a while back, and it didn't work out for various reasons. People are getting ahead of themselves on this. Some of them are putting up a business and counting on getting the video gaming license. And many places I've talked to use that as income to keep them in business. Like it or not, it does keep some people in business. I'm not criticizing either way, but I think we need to look at it and see if there's something we can do to make a kind of a moratorium or something to regulate better those licenses. I don't know, you'd have to see what the state says about it. And Moline, I think, has a moratorium, or did they change that?
Well, they had one, and they limited one particular item, and then somebody moved a business from Davenport to Moline, got ahead, like you said.
Yeah.
And then they didn't fit, they were the sixth business in a five business operation, or whatever, limit.
They have theirs divided
Yeah.
into zones, I think.
So, I mean, they've been unsuccessful trying to
Yeah.
limit it, so.
Other
I
towns
just
have
think
too, comes up the same.
let it go.
Not saying it good or bad, I'm just saying, we do get tax revenue from it. I don't know what the split is, I did know at one time, but, anyway, Lincoln, I'd like you to look into that if you would, please, so we can try to put some regulations to it that are legal. Okay, we'll talk about that more. It's kind of one of those confusing things to me. I just don't know where we stand exactly on it. The only requirement is that they have to have a liquor license. It was originally intended for bars, taverns. That was the original intent, and then it became available to restaurants if they serve liquor, and then some establishments just made a bar so they could have the gaming. And I know some businesses that rely on that income to stay alive. The first time we brought it up was when the American Legion people came in, and they were having trouble. This has been many years ago. They were having trouble with their finances, and they said there was possibility of them having to close down at some point because of money concerns. So it's made a difference to them. I think it pays the rent or something, some portion of their business every month. So you can speak both ways. You can say it's bad, you can say it's good, but we cope with it. So that's,
Well, like all businesses, they're trying to diversify, find another source of income. If one, the main business is not doing as well, like you said, this kind of helps fix it up. It's been pretty successful for us. It brings in money into the general fund, which also helps to keep property taxes low.
That's right.
We don't have to put any money out for that, so, I mean, it helps. But I agree on, you can look for a moratorium, but, they're all gonna regulate themselves
I think it will.
at a point.
I hope it.
But it doesn't hurt.
We'll do what we can do to,
Look into it, maybe
Yeah.
come up with something that works for both parties.
Lincoln could get a new suit like his grandpa used to. We used to joke. Okay, where are we now? Clear down to 19. We did 18, 19, we're on 20. Go ahead, we're really moving. Consideration for approval of merging two of the police department bank accounts.
Yes, so what we have is we have bank accounts over at Blackhawk Bank that are there for money that's awarded to us through the courts.
Oh, okay.
Two of them, they're labeled investigative account 1 and investigative account 2. The money that is in those accounts are from similar sources. And so I want to combine those into, these were accounts that were created about 3 or 4 chiefs ago, so before me. But through my research into it, we can combine those two and not create problems. However, Blackhawk needed something in the meeting minutes.
Oh, okay.
And approved by the council.
Is it-
And then we have one that's labeled investigative account 3, and that would just be a name change on that, just for us to easier
Okay.
keep track of.
So they work for you in the department?
Yeah, it's just easier for us to track, because like I say, there's, the way the money is awarded, depending on what type of case it comes from, the money can't be commingled, it has to be kept separately.
Okay.
Some of it has to go to the state, and then they send us some back, and it's a whole process.
So you and Ariane will take care of it with you and the girls in the office?
Yeah, I'll be able to take care of it, just, like I say, just had to be in the meeting minutes.
Yeah, just have our approval to do it.
Right, and in the motion too, if we can state specifically that Chief Johnson and Captain Radosevich would be permitted as signatories on that account. That does not go, because of the police investigative accounts, that is not the same signature process.
Okay. Some of this money you get from confiscated vehicles and things from drug busts?
Vehicles, drugs.
Yeah. And that all goes to run the department?
Right.
Yeah, okay, very good.
And
Okay,
there again, we have stipulations on what we can spend that money
yeah,
on.
right, that's what I was trying to say.
Yep.
Okay, would there be a motion? Steve, you said what, put what in the motion?
To name the captain and the chief as signatory on the Blackhawk accounts.
Okay, if that suits your pleasure, would there be a motion?
I make a motion that we take, that we merge 2 of the existing accounts and change the name on one and make the Chief Johnson and Captain Radosevich as the signatories on those accounts.
Correct, and I want to clarify, that hasn't changed, but it just makes it clear with Blackhawk that it stays the same.
Okay,
I'll second.
second. Motion made and seconded to that complicated motion. Any other discussion? Do have a roll call, please, on it. Michelle?
Jerry Motter,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey,
Yes.
Dan Verbeck,
Yeah.
Bruce Stickle.
Yes.
Motion carried. Very good. We got through a long agenda. Chief, how's Captain, is he into, at the?
Good, he's into his second week now.
How's he doing?
Good.
Surviving?
Talked to him Friday evening, and, a lot of work, but
Yeah.
he's doing well.
He was preparing for it. He told me he's
Yes.
getting himself in good shape, so I
Yeah.
imagine there's a lot of physical abilities.
There's a lot of physical and a lot of mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll come back ready to go.
Yep.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, let's go to committee reports. Dan,
Nope.
anything? Okay,
Nothing
Bruce?
this time.
Jerry?
No, nothing.
Doug?
Nothing.
Anything? Steve, you have anything else to add?
Nothing else, we'll need to set a time for the visit down to the sewer treatment plant to start that process off, but it doesn't have to be tomorrow.
Okay, very good, okay. Okay, time for citizens' opportunity to address the village board. If you just raise your hand so I know who you are, please. Thank you. Deborah?
Hi, Deborah Coates. I just got a message from somebody, the water on East Fifth Street is green. And they want to know if it's safe for their kids to bathe in.
Anybody know? I don't, Kevin just left, unfortunately.
I'll write it down.
Will you check into it?
Yeah, right down here on 4th Avenue and Fifth.
Did you get it from just one, or are there more, or, you know?
I got it from one.
Okay,
I hope they called someone from the city also.
I don't know.
That'd be a good idea, I think.
The water department number after hours
Yeah.
rings through to the dispatch center,
Does it?
so that would be the thing people should do.
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
thank you. Yes, Chuck?
Yeah, Chuck Hinton,
Yeah.
about town.
I'm just curious, how many licenses, gaming licenses have we issued out so far?
It's upstairs. I don't have it right now, how many we have. I know the concern, how many do we have? And like I say, we're gonna try to do something about that. I was originally against it, the whole thing. I got letters from ministers and various other people. But then Legion came in, literally saying they might have to go out of business.
Okay, so I think it's just the same people just shuffling around from place to place, not really attracting anybody else, so it's just same amount of money just going to.
Oh, yeah, I wonder too. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know who's doing it, whatever, but I think, like some people have said, the market's got to regulate itself at some point.
Yeah.
You've got the same people going places. I don't think we've had any big increase in, when we add a new license, with, in the past, I don't think we've seen any big increase in the amount of revenue we get from it, which is a very small proportion of the total. I think it might be 5%, if that. I'm not sure anymore. I'd have to go check. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Google Illinois video gaming revenue, posting up the state website, and then it does have drop-down boxes, usually by cities, counties, and stuff like that. So you can actually look at any city in the state of Illinois or county that has them, and then when you go to that city, it'll let you pick a month, whatever month you want to view,
Oh, really?
or a time frame, and you can see all the licenses for different jurisdictions.
Okay.
By business. I think it shows the revenues by business too, so you can see the comparative.
Then it breaks down.
Tax share and-
Different shares and everything, it's pretty informative.
And it's always a question when we do one of these. Who's enough? Yeah, Barb?
I've wondered for some time why we're in the real estate rental business. I heard us pass for Edwards, but how much a month do we get from them?
Steve knows, 3,800.
$3,801, and I think it's 49 cents.
And we've been doing all the maintenance and everything?
Yeah.
What
But
did the roof cost us?
the roof was prorated over a number of years. We've been positive cash flow, even without it becoming a triple net lease. And with the triple net lease, we will clear over 40,000. They'll pay about 46,000. We'll have a few incidental costs, but it becomes a cash flow, as well as allowing that business to stay in place until they grow into a new facility.
Yeah.
Part of the reason for doing this is to keep them in town, because they were looking at a bigger
We can't do
place.
that for every business, though.
Well,
To
we
talk
don't,
about leaving, you can't buy there.
we don't want to be in the real estate business.
But how much did that roof cost?
I have no idea. Steve's
I
got
think the
figures.
city,
Had to be-
I believe it was 565,000. The,
Oh, the roof.
Just
oh, the roof,
The
no,
roof.
you probably know the roof. I thought you meant the purchase.
I think the roof was 126,000.
So we have a mortgage on that place?
No,
No.
no,
We
it's
bought it
free and
and
clear. When the city does sell it, right now it's on the tax rolls, I think, with a market value of 711,000. So it's appreciated, so the city benefits from having a property which has appreciated in value, having a building that has 50-some employees, and having a cash flow from it. And at their request, they want to take it a little bit longer at the time than whether it's in 6 months or 5 years. When the city puts it on the market, presumably it will come close to what the tax assessor has it listed as a market value.
When that was originally done, though, that was through TIF.
It was a TIF, the whole development was with TIF. What?
Are we ever gonna sell the old Village Hall?
The state of
Gotta have a buyer.
Illinois will not buy it.
The state of Illinois will not buy it.
But are we marketing it or anything?
It's under lease right now.
It's under lease for a while, but I don't know. We'd love to sell it, Barb, really would, but we got this mostly with TIF money, so it didn't really cost the taxpayers much. We've actually made money from it,
Just that,
but we don't want to be in a real estate business.
that's what I.
Yeah,
that's what I-
no, that was never our intent, but it just happened that way with this business that it's worked out, but we want to get out of
I
it.
need your help on one other little question.
Okay?
In doing my income tax, like everybody else, I was looking over my property tax. Why would the Milan Village, why would my pension be twice, more than twice than the Rockland School District pension? That I'm taxed.
What you're paying
Uh-huh. How would that be?
shouldn't be at
I'm
all.
looking right here at the mountains.
How could
I know you
that?
I know
those
you
are-
raised it a couple of years ago.
The village has two different pension programs which we pay into.
This is just one, it shows on the tax bill.
Okay, well, there's one line item, but there is a state of Illinois police and fire pension statute. And those are operated somewhat independently of each other. So obviously, there's Black Hawk Fire, which is its own entity. And for Milan, then, it's only police. And the police, everything about that is set by state statute and not locally. The amount that the city has to come up with and contribute to that, the investment is all taken care of by the state of Illinois. And they come back with an actuarial study, which is essentially sending the city a bill every year, saying the amount that then has to be contributed for it.
But how could it be 2.5 times what the school district? That's administrators, all the teachers, custodians, cafeterias.
The school district has a much broader tax base to support they have more employees, but they also have more tax base. Then just to touch real briefly on the second part of it, that the city also has to contribute to, is the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, IMRF. And it's a completely separate program. In both cases, those are, the contribution rates are set by the state of Illinois. In the case of the police pension, one of the downfalls of a lot of communities, including the state of Illinois, was underfunding police pensions.
But they have to have their guidelines too.
We have now caught up with our police pension funding so that we are funded to 71%. That is extremely healthy compared to a lot of the other area cities which are still below 50% contribution. In the long run, that policy, it's like paying off your high credit cards. That policy will save taxpayers money than if we kick the can down the road.
Well, right now I'm paying over 2.5 times what the school district does. You're the highest one on my tax bill.
And you would find that.
Milan, 5,000.
You would find that to be comparable, and I don't know the rate, the percentages will change, but you will find that same situation in Silvis and Coal Valley and just anybody that has a full-time administrative staff under IMRF and our public works employees, water and sewer, and then police it with a separate program. Those are our state-derived benefits, state-derived contribution rates, not set locally.
Well, custodians, cafeterias, secretaries in the district is IMRF, so this still.
It is,
Anyway,
but
it's the highest
while
one
the,
by, but I
Yeah.
couldn't believe when I really looked at it, that it's over two times the Rock Island.
and again, that's not set locally. We're the ones that have to raise the money to put into that.
But they
And
have to too.
what?
I'm sure they have guidelines, any school district would have what they have.
The IMRF, and that, I'm not familiar with this,
Anyway,
the school district's program.
Asking you
Yeah.
to help me understand,
Yeah.
Dwayne, why it would be,
Have you gotten your tax bill apparently?
yeah,
I don't have mine yet.
huh?
I don't have my tax bill yet, so I'm kind of, I don't really want to, no, don't want to go home yet. Look at it, might be in the mail.
Well, no, those don't come out till May. This is,
That's from the red ones last year's, right? The payable in '24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
no, it's already been paid.
I can't add anything to it, it's not my
But
area.
I'm just
Yeah.
looking, we're 5,000 people, we're the highest one in all these people.
Steve, I don't know, somebody,
Yeah.
I can't answer.
I mean, it's
We have a
literally,
Finance committee and stuff, do they?
for example, the bonds and stock market have had a rough time of it in the last week. And here's the fallacy. That's bad news for several reasons. One is April 30th is the end of the city's fiscal year. That's the benchmark, and what the performance of the bond market is as of April 30th, the state will use then that value and say, the city then has to play catch-up the following year by contributing more because of where the bond market was on that one day.
But this is 23, payable in 24.
But it's the same every year. It depends on,
Not the stock market.
it depend, well, no, but of where the stock market is relative to it.
It's gonna hurt everybody.
In 2018, we began a program which over remaining about 17 years will meet a new requirement from the state of Illinois where they require all of these municipalities, anybody that has a full-time police department that is under the pension program, are to have their pension fund at least 90% funded, and I don't remember the date, I think it's 17 years out, it's
I know in the-
2042.
I mean, the state doesn't even fund their own pensions.
No,
Right.
But they make
what-
us.
But the penalty is they don't follow their own rules. The penalty against the city is if they determine that we underfund, and they have done this in other places around the state, they will come in and seize the sales tax that they collect, and they will not distribute all of it back to the city. And they will take the money off the top because if the city is not putting in at least the required amount. So
We're probably
they
in the
don't
best-
live by their own rules.
We're probably in the best with our
Yeah, but
pension funds of any town around. I talked to some of them, they didn't even know
just
about it
trying,
till we found
just trying to
out.
get it.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
answer,
It's frustrating. There's three things that go into, well, the IMRF is very simple, and it's a percent of
but the district design.
yes, and so that part is easy. The police pension is a convoluted approach to it that changes every year as far as the contribution amount. And the city has to make up for any shortfalls in the bond market. So if it tanks as of April 30th, you know, it might have been good a month before or a month after, but whatever it is, April 30th determines the contribution, minimum contribution that they require of the state or of the village's taxpayers the following year. It stinks,
So we really don't know why it's more than double.
because we put in,
Too much.
no.
Well, we wouldn't know why it's double the school district. We don't know the school district's
I'm right here.
reasoning on that. Yeah, no, I understand that, but we don't know the school district's
Yeah.
reasoning.
Yeah. So two different retirement programs, both of them the state rules, and we follow the rules on both of them.
Anybody else?
Dwayne, Tina's got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Tina Emerson. I live right next to the Shell station. I've lived out here for over 20 years. Unfortunately, this is the first meeting I've ever been able to attend. I have a few questions about, I know we worked on some of the parks. I talked to Sean about Dixon Park down here. I understand that there was where you guys had asked for suggestions or something. I missed it. I would like to know what we can do for the park. I want to bring community back, and I want to know what we can do, or it's just a little peon, what can I do myself to show I'm interested, I want to jump in, I want to help, I want to do something. but I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin.
Sean?
I think with the new council gets set, I think we need to reconvene some talks on the Dixon Park project. To T.S. Warren and Shell, they raised, through a raffle, they raised $820. Where people buying raffle tickets to win prizes at Shell. And that money is sitting in, it's gonna be renamed, it's sitting in donations to Spray Ground, which is also Dixon Park. It'll be renamed to donations to the park, but that money is sitting in that account, through their hard work and stuff like that. But I think we need to, get back on the Dixon Park.
What's the status of that grant program?
Yeah, and we got some work to do on that, but we need to get going with it, I think.
Okay.
I've heard from one of the council members that comes up that he's interested in that project too, so.
You could certainly be involved in that
Yeah.
when we get
Yeah.
more.
I'd love to.
Okay. Maybe give Sean your name afterwards and we'll contact you when we get something going on it.
All right.
We did the other parks, but we kind of slowed down on Dixon because it's in a grant program. That, we had a study done and not sure.
We need to finalize some of that.
We need to finalize some things, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, give him your name, that'd be fine, yeah.
Thank you.
I
You
know
bet.
her. I know her.
You know her.
I know her too, she's a hard worker.
Thank you.
Anybody, anything else for the good of the village? You had your hand up first? Did you? Sorry, Linda, we'll get right there. He had his hand up a little bit ago.
My name's John Ledbetter. I own Jail, Hardscape, and Ledbetter Trucking and Excavating. And for a little over a year, I've been in talks with Sean. I've also met with Mr. Schroeder. I have great interest in lots 10 and 14 in the industrial park simultaneously, but respectfully would, I guess, settle for even just lot 10. I've put in a couple intent to purchase offers. I've now gone the extra step to get some 3D renderings done. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Schroeder both have a copy of a full set of those. What I'm basically looking to do is find a way to get onto the agenda on the next meeting so that maybe we can discuss some of the things that are limiting the traction from going forward.
I've heard you have some new drawings of what you want to do, is that true?
That's true.
I haven't seen them
And
yet.
like I said, I met with Sean and Mr. Schroeder, and they have a set of those. And
Okay.
so you guys have those in your possession somewhere.
Okay.
They're not, they're not like an engineer drawing on, they're just renderings to show you what I plan to do and kind of let you know
Okay.
what I want to do based off, Mr. Dawson, and I believe you were there too, Mr. Humphrey, when we all met, and there
Yeah.
was some concerns. So just to kind of, I did that just kind of show that I was serious about moving forward,
Okay.
and that I would take the next step to kind of show you what my plans were to limit some of those concerns that you guys had
Okay.
raised. I think I've done everything on my end that I can do at this point. We just have to get to a point where either we can hash out some of those situations and find how we can come together, or finally agree that it's just not gonna work. But I think we can all agree that empty lots is just costing
Yeah.
Public Works money to mow, and it's not any good. With that being said, I just wanted to be known and said, I'm not asking for any assistance, I'm not asking for anything special, I'm asking for my offer to be considered, and if there's a counter, make a counter, whatever we have to do to come to terms. From my understanding, the TIF district has expired, I'm okay with all of that. The point I will raise tonight, to my benefit, is Rock Island is about to develop Campbell Sports Complex. It's gonna be a 10-year TIF district on top of assistance either towards purchasing the lot or the down payment of whatever your final financing is, because they are desperately trying to draw people in. I'll be honest, I don't wanna wait that long, but also just to my point that there is options for TIF or other funding in a nearby city, and I'm still willing to contribute to the growth of Milan so long as the board and committee can all,
Okay.
I guess, work with me. And I again, you know, with the renderings that I had done and everything else, the renderings actually show lot 14 The woodworking place next door, you know, there's a silhouette of that. It shows my project based on that lot and that design. And how I plan to kind of move forward with that project as long as we can come to terms. So, again, I'm just looking to help the growth of Milan, and in turn, I'm not asking for any assistance or special funding or anything other than the chance to purchase the lot. And
Sean, why don't we set up a meeting? Can we do that? Whoever, I don't know, I can attend, maybe one other trustee or something to that effect. Look at your plans, see what, things have changed since the last time we met, apparently.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We'll have Sean get a hold of you and us, we'll get something moving.
Me and Sean definitely know how to get a hold of each
I'm
other.
sure. I'm sure.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got two people here during the day, so if you want to meet during the day, you don't have to wait after 5 o'clock. We can certainly meet with you, two of the trustees can, and work with you on that too, and make it convenient for you to come in whenever you can.
We'll have to call a committee
I'll make
meeting.
it a point to get with Sean tomorrow, and we'll set something up.
Because our time's your time, whatever works for you.
Sounds good.
Awesome, I appreciate that, and I'll definitely make sure I follow through on that.
And so we can get this thing going as quickly as possible for your convenience.
Okay.
Awesome, I appreciate that very much.
Sounds good. Linda, you had a question?
Yes. You said that you guys were going to do better communication and transparency, and I put in, well, actually, Pam ended up being the one to put in the FOIA request, but we requested information on the IRS fine that we received when S&P did their 2021 S&P report with you.
That was back during COVID, right? What was, yes.
Okay.
Certainly was.
Anyway, we ended up with over $243,000 in fines for federal payroll taxes being
No.
withheld and not paid.
It's not true. Not true. Steve, you want to talk to it?
Yeah,
We've discussed this before.
Okay.
there, and this is something that was over a period of several years to rectify, and it was what the issue was, what the problem was, is that payroll taxes withheld were not submitted on time during COVID, and that was when we were down on staffing. The building was closed, and people were having to do rotating shifts, partially working from home and partially from the office. And so,
COVID required you to function if you were, what was the word for?
Essential.
Essential, thank you. And paying our bills is essential, right?
it is, and all the people worked during that period of time, but there was only one in finance department at any one time.
Okay.
So that plus.
One person can't pay the bills?
That, no, but the finance director retired with just a few weeks' notice in the summer of 2020. So there were a number of things that contributed to the problem. It was a bad situation, and the taxes that were, the withholdings were not submitted on time. They were withheld, but they were held in the Blackhawk bank accounts rather than being submitted on time. And that was the crux of why the penalties came.
How much was the?
There was, well, I will have to look it up for you, and that's what we provided you the information on.
No, you didn't provide me the information on that. I asked for it, you did not provide it.
I think we provided everything that was asked for in the FOIA
What I understood too.
for the period of time.
The rest of the FOIA.
What?
And who are you, ma'am?
The rest of the FOIA to come.
I know that there was 12 hours
Yes.
provided in staff time in filling that one particular FOIA, 12 hours of time in pulling documents to fulfill it. And, that was.
Which FOIA are you referencing then? Because we
The-
haven't gotten the FOIA for this, so
We haven't
what
got
12 hours are you talking about?
the second.
I'm saying 12 hours at the end of last week and the first of this week by the finance department to to fill the one FOIA request for information, which by and large is already publicly available on the website and the annual
The
audit
fine and
reports.
everything is not on there, on the website.
This probably isn't the forum to try to do this, Linda. We are
So
transparent
you don't
on it.
want the people to know that
No, ma'am.
your Arion took the payroll taxes
Let's please not use let's not talk about personnel. We're not gonna blame any one individual.
Well, I
I'm
think you
talking
just-
about the
Who?
people in charge of paying the bills that didn't get paid, that withheld the taxes.
And that's what
that didn't
Steve's
get
trying to
paid.
explain to you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And to work through that was a perfect storm in that even the IRS, the state of Illinois, Department of Revenue, the withholdings for any employees that lived in Iowa, so you've got another state involved, all of those fell under the same issue. And all of those agencies had people working from home,
I'm not
didn't
talking
have
about other
access.
agencies, I'm talking about Milan, and I'm talking
I
about the
am
fees
trying to
that we-
give
He's trying to
you
explain.
an explanation.
No, you're
of-
trying to give me other
Maybe
cities,
we're
what
gonna
happened
get
with them. I don't care about other cities. I want to know why
No.
our bills were not paid on time to where we got fines, how much those fines were. And the word is that actually,
Friday, that staff had pretty well completed that, so I don't know if it went out today or not. We had a lady that, well, I can't speak particularly to it, except that it's pretty evident she's expecting, and she ended up absent from work today because of that pregnancy. She is one of 2 FOIA officers that we have. The other one is on vacation, returning on Wednesday. So it may be that because of that it didn't go out today. And that's a speculation. I don't know. We will find out. But our staff works very hard to try to provide the information. What we can't do is draw the conclusions for you. We will provide you the information.
I'm not
under.
asking for conclusions.
I think you are today. You're asking me
You're asking, yeah.
what happened, and I think that's a fair question, but I can't cite the numbers from 4 and 5 years ago off the top of my head.
Well,
And
when
if
we're
I
still-
did, it
when
would
we're still
likely,
getting emails back and forth in regards to it,
yeah,
then
and
it should be somewhat forthright, I think. It's kind of a big deal.
it is a big deal, and we've provided the information on that and related FOIAs, which you have filed or others have filed on your behalf. And the amount of staff time that we have spent filling FOIA has actually been very disruptive to the normal workflow
So
of
you
those
don't wanna be
people.
transparent.
And it costs the village of Milan a great deal of money for all the FOIA requests that we've had lately.
And-
Now, you know where they're coming from, and I know where they're
So
coming
you
from.
know what? You said you were gonna be transparent. So
We
be
are.
transparent and give us
We
the
are.
information.
I think
It's our
we're just about done here.
May I make
No,
a
it is
statement?
the village's
Make a statement and then
information.
we're done. Make a
You're done.
Village's
You're done, Linda.
information.
Sit
No,
down.
I'm not done.
You are.
Are you gonna
Chief,
have me arrested?
Chief?
Have me arrested then. Do it. I dare you.
Oh,
I dare you.
Come
this is
on,
what we put up with for 6 months, folks.
yeah. I want to apologize
It
to
is
the
not being
people.
a sore loser.
You are a sore loser.
I want to apologize to the people in the audience because we try to limit the comments with respect to everybody,
No,
courtely
only
to
me. I'm the only one
everybody.
that's ever gabbled or told 5 minutes or 3 minutes.
You're the only one that babbles on and on and on.
Who the fuck are you?
All right, that's enough language. We're done. We don't use that language in this courtroom, ma'am. You want to escort her out, somebody? We're done. I call this meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? We're done. I broke my gavel.